Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's second video, doing the extended USA forecast for today's second video. So as always on a Wednesday, we have a look at the weather for the next 6 weeks in America with the ECMWF extended model, and I shall get on that for you in a moment. Just to say that first video released today was our 6 AM UK weather forecast. We're going to be looking at the JMA seasonal model for the UK and for Europe in an hour or so's time, and then we will be live streaming at 6 PM this evening and live stream our 10 to 14 dayer, so I shall see you a little bit later on to that one, hopefully. Please like, share and subscribe on all of today's videos and content. Thank you so much everybody for doing that, and I hope you're having a lovely, fantastic Wednesday. Okay then, let's have a look. We're going to start off with the week 1 500 millibar height anomaly for America. This is taking us through the week we're currently in, the 18th to the 25th of September. Looks unsettled with low pressure in across much of the central swathe of America. There is a ridge of high pressure away to the north into Canada, and still that ridge against such a hot summer down across the extreme southern states. It's actually more down towards Mexico now. So temperature anomaly looks like this. Whoops, that's wrong. I want to go to North America. There you go. Temperature anomaly looks like this. So it's cooler than average in the western states, from the Pacific coast to the Rockies, and then cooler than average from the Midwest to the eastern seaboard. In between, there is some warmer weather through the central northern states. Looks quite warm there. And down across the far southern states also looks pretty hot. That extends back in towards Mexico as well. And the precipitation anomaly looks quite unsettled in many areas. So just on the eastern seaboard, it's actually a little bit drier than average from the east coast towards those midwestern states. We see a big swathe of wetter than average conditions in the Atlantic. That's down to Hurricane Nigel, I think, pushing northwards there. And then we've got wetter than average conditions through the Midwest, through the breadbasket, through the Midwest, and out in towards those western states too. The far south and southwest road coming out drier through there, closer to that ridge of high pressure. Week 2 will be the 25th of September to the 2nd of October. So this one shows higher pressure building up to the north from Canada down into the northern states. Lower pressure in the northwest, maybe sort of meandering its way a little bit further eastwards there. As far as the temperature anomaly is concerned, we see again that it's cooler than average towards the west coast and in these central midwestern states as well. Hotter than average in the far north, and that is particularly so back into Canada, looking really hot through central parts of Canada there. And then along the eastern coast again, it looks pretty warm through there, as it does through the southern states and back into Mexico as well. And for precipitation next week, we see that the southern states and also the eastern states too are turning wet. This has been a trend within the ECMWF extended over the past few updates. If you've been following these on a week-by-week basis, you will know that the EC extended model is indicating that we will bring some useful rains in some of those southern states through this next few weeks. So indicating some wet weather there in the southern states and pushing into the eastern states too. Over on the west coast, looks pretty wet there. Drier than average still in the southwestern states like Arizona, for example, looking pretty dry through there. And then in the far northern states back to Canada, it does turn a little bit drier through there as well, looking very dry into Canada. Week 3 will be the 2nd to the 9th of October. So a ridge still sitting there to the north. Lots of high pressure for Canada, isn't there? I don't know if they're having a drought there, but a lot of high pressure up there. Lower pressure pushing through here. Temperature anomalies for week 3. They're coming out hotter than average back into Canada, warmer than average through these northern states and in the southern states too. It does still look as though it could be a little bit on the cooler and chillier side for some of those western states. Generally a bit of a warm-up, though, I think, going on there through the first full week of October. And precipitation for week 3 also showing a weakening signal as you'd expect further out you're going, but does look a little bit on the wetter side towards the east coast and in the central northern states, driving average down towards the southwest once again. Possibly a bit wet for some of those southern states such as Texas. Right, okay, week 4 will be right to the 16th of October. And that one, again, will have some higher pressure sitting over Canada. Otherwise, the signal is getting weaker, though, the further out we're going. So a three-way split for temperature, warmer than average in the north, warmer than average in the far south, and then nearer north. But possibly, in reality, this might be a cool zone here through these central parts of America. Again, it's a long way out, and the signal is quite weak. Very weak signals for precipitation, but we do see some wetter than average conditions down across the southern states and also towards those eastern states as well. Possibly a bit on the drier side out towards the northwest. Week 5 will be the 16th to 23rd of October. Very, very weak signals now, so I think we'll just put in a question mark, really. Not clear what's going on there from a 500 millibar height anomaly perspective. Temperature anomalies, they look relatively warm across the extreme southern states and also in the east, possibly towards the west coast as well, but large area actually, but could be cooler than average, so it's either indicating average or no signal, or it might be a little bit on the cool side through those central states there. And precipitation looks a little bit on the unsettled side as well, particularly from the Rockies eastward. So, again, through the Midwest into those eastern states, looks quite wet. It looks quite wet down towards the Gulf Coast as well, so possibly that could be some sort of tropical development. We haven't seen much activity in the Gulf and Caribbean area through this season so far. Most of the storms have tended to be in the Atlantic, in the middle of the North Atlantic. So maybe as we progress further on into October, we might start seeing the risk of some hurricanes and whatnot developing into the Gulf region. But that's a very long way off, of course, for a long range one to be picking up that kind of development. So probably it's nothing to do with the hurricane season. And then lastly, week 6 will be the 23rd to the 30th of October. Again, I'm going to put in a question mark. It isn't clear with the 500 millibar heights where things are going. Then not much of a signal for precipitation, just looks a little bit on the wetter, or I should say a little bit on the warmer side in the southern states and up towards the far northeast as well. But otherwise, it has no signal really there. And for precipitation, finally, again, it's such a weak signal that nothing of use can be gleaned really there. Okay, so that's it for your extended USA forecast for this week. Remember, any forecast beyond 5-7 days comes with big health warnings and large pinches of salt attached. So don't take it too seriously, but it's a snapshot of what the bond is going for this week anyway in America. It's all looking rather typical and standard, I think, actually. No, nothing overly dramatic being indicated there. Certainly no sign of a particularly dramatic cold plunge at the moment. But maybe a little bit later on there might be, a little bit later on in the season. Anyway, that's it for this week. Do it all over again next week. We're going to be back shortly looking at the GWV seasonal model for the UK and also for Europe. So come back for that later. Live stream at 6 p.m. And again, I'll see you for that one. But for this week's Extended USA forecast, that's all for now. And thanks so much.